Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode, and we're going to be covering a couple of stocks. Let's start with PayPal because I've just been accumulating this pretty heavy as it's been dropping from 200 now to 115. I can't even believe it. But am I afraid that this will never recover? No, I am not. PayPal is sitting at 115 bucks, and market cap is 132 billion. It was as high as 300 billion. So this is really, really down. The forward P is around 25, pretty damn low. I mean, at this point, I don't know who's actually selling it, but what can you do? You just have to buy into the blood because everything is down. So all this growth is getting smashed. Square is down, but I feel like this one is being hit abnormally hard because it is not overpriced. It is getting to the point of like you are thinking this is not a growth stock anymore. So this is like they're considering this a super mature company, I guess, that it's not growing at around 18 to 20% compounded, which, all right, sure. I see this as an easy double in my opinion. Anyway, let's take a look at the chart real quick. And this is the next level. I already bought heavily at this level at the $120 level. Now we're below it. And I bought a little bit today, actually. If you go to our Discord and you join our Patreon, you will see our trades. So let me see what I did today. I just bought very little today because I'm waiting for 110. And here you go. I bought some QQQ, I bought some VOO, and I also bought some PayPal. It was $1,000 of PayPal. It wasn't that much. And another 500 and 500 of the other two. Because it's good to diversify and not everything is meant to be a complete growth stock. So, but yes, I bought a little bit of PayPal. Here I am waiting for a $100 PayPal now because the chart says we should be getting to somewhere, well, it's saying even as low as $92, $94, but I think at the $100 mark, somewhere around here, I'll put a little line. I think somewhere around here, around $100, it seems like a good place. If I don't catch the absolute bottom or if it doesn't go there, if I'm to take a calculator to see what exactly I'm expecting from this, all right? So, this was as high as $300 around. Let's see what the peak was. This was around $309. Well, let me see. 52-week range, $310. We are sitting, if you take a look, we were at $310. We're now sitting at $115. Oh my goodness. So let's do a little bit of math here. If I do $310, even if we return back minus 115, we have $195 lost, right? So now we have $195 lost divided by the original price, $310, okay? Times 100. This is just the formula for what it's down. It is down 63%. Isn't that crazy that this stock is down 63%? That is a lot. That is being smashed. And I know other companies have been smashed, but we've discussed this one at length, and I have an episode that I'll link to up there and below that. I don't know if this is called for. Maybe people are afraid we're going into a recession and it's not worth buying, but I think it was the quarterly numbers that people weren't excited about Q1 guidance. Still, for the full year of 2022, on the call they said they're expecting to do around 20% plus in growth. So we'll see what happens, but I think this is just becoming an easier double, triple from here because it's down like 62%. So as soon as it's down to the $100 level, it's down like 70% around there. So I'll just keep buying it, whatever. I don't really care. I buy into the red. That's what happens. PayPal, buy the dip on the best digital payment stock. PayPal finished 2021 with 426 million user accounts and shows no signs of slowing down as the top digital wallet company in the world. PayPal shares trade at a reasonable forward PE. So this says it's a 21, even though we saw like a 25. Either way, 21 to 25, it's extremely reasonable for the S&P. It is not an overvalued growth stock. Anyone who just feels like this should be smashed under 20, like how far can this go? I mean, go ahead, take me there. Like I will keep buying PayPal, which is crazy because I don't know. Am I the insane one here because I continue to buy this? I don't understand because I think at some point this is going to turn around and I probably have an easy double. Before I thought I had to wait for a double, but I think at the end of the year, this is probably a double at this point. If this is, I would be surprised if this is not over $200 by the end of the year, because of how much it was smashed. All right. So PayPal shares trade at a reasonable forward P of 21. We've discussed this between 21 and 25, whichever numbers you use. So if you go to our Discord, you'll see that we actually discussing PayPal at length. SEC filings for insider trading for a total of 2.5 million. So if I click this, David W. Dorman, he's a director at PayPal, and he ended up buying, here you go, at a price of $119.33, 8,400 shares. And the cost was, what was the cost? Let's do some math again. So 8,400 shares times $120 approximately. So this guy spent $1 million on stock. And I don't know, directors, I don't think buy $1 million of stock if they don't believe that it's going to go up. So we have a couple more insider trades. Let's take a look. Another link included here. Thank you, Denny's D, for putting these links. Frank Yeri, also a director. He bought 4,000, so around $500,000, a little bit higher price, $125. Okay, that's another guy. And now we have, let me see, this guy. And here's the CEO, Daniel Schulman, and a director, obviously an officer. He's a CEO, president and CEO right here. And what did he buy? He also bought around $1 million. So you're talking about 2.5 million or so of stock being bought by the directors, the CEO. I'm not saying that we should always follow their trades, but guys like this don't need to buy stock unless they think that it's going to go up. Maybe the CEO is putting on a happy, shiny face, but I don't know if these directors would be willing to spend $500,000 or $1 million in order to prove something. So this is a lot of shares he bought at this price. He must think it's undervalued. He must think he's going to make money. That's what I'm figuring. It made me more comfortable to go buy another 100 shares of PayPal, as I showed you. And just to point out one more time, all our trades for our Patreon users are available right here. So yes, when I say another 100 shares, here you go. So here you go. I bought, after I read about those guys, I was like, okay, I'm going to put in another 100 shares. And I've got a lot of shares now. I'm just going to keep buying on the way down, okay? PayPal filled at $122. And if it goes down to 100, so be it. Once again, I'm not trying to time this perfectly. I'm just going to keep buying it on the way down. A lot of people think they can time these bottoms. Even though I look at the charts, so, we can clearly see by the chart that technically it should go down to around 100. It doesn't have to, though. That's the thing. So I'm already in the territory of the world is ending, PayPal is dead. That is the territory we are in. Before that territory, I was here, oh my God, WTF buy zone. So I was buying heavily here too. Now we're in the world's going out, ending. PayPal is no longer a thing. Venmo's not working. They're not growing. They're not selling crypto. They're not doing anything. So forget about it. Yeah, I don't believe that's happening. I don't even know if this recession nonsense is true yet. Having said that, I'm not throwing in my rent money, my mortgage money. I'm not doing that. I'm using money I have on the side or from other investments that are not as good as PayPal that I'm selling and buying this. So I have plenty of dividend stocks too. I haven't started really relieving myself of them just yet, but I don't know. As these prices keep going down, I guess I'm waiting for the end of the world for reals to really go heavier into these stocks, which I'm already pretty heavy in. I didn't think I'd have such a massive position in PayPal. I really didn't believe it, but here we are sitting at almost $100, $115. I don't know how I cannot buy it. It's just an easy 2x. I don't know how to explain it because yes, we're going to have a lot of resistance points, but let's say we get down, I'm just going to give you a possible scenario. Let's say we get down to this $100 level. And we're going to have a bunch of points to get up to, obviously. But the next level after 100, if it continues up, we're going straight to 120. So yes, we're around there. So I'm not saying this is the most opportune time, but that's the way it's going to work out. And after that, there is not much resistance to get to 160. So as soon as we break this 120, of course, there's a downtrend here. So we do have to break the downtrend. But when this market turns around, I honestly see we can get back to 160 relatively fast. That's why I'm not so worried that I'm losing money here because I'm getting my cost basis down. And the lower I buy, the lower this goes. I don't think there's that much resistance because, look, we went straight up basically over 2020, 2021. So the good part about this is there's not a lot of resistance and support. That's why we broke through everything going on the way down. But here we are sitting where there is a bunch of support and resistance, which is between the $100, well, let's say between the $94 and between the $120 mark. So there is some activity here that we can look at, right? So that's why I'm thinking opportune moment, must buy heavier at 100. And then I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of the year we're 160 plus, and that means a 60% upside only from the $100. I'm not even talking about the $200 where I think it's going. Here's the $200 level. That's probably where it's going. But having said that, look, 60% plus from this $100 mark, it just seems like a no-brainer. Unless PayPal is failing, please tell me in the comments if you think actually PayPal is like going out of business. They're printing money. Their free cash flow is massive. I don't see what's going on here. So maybe I'm not as smart as Wall Street, which is probably true. That's why I wear this hat. But, I just can't see a scenario where this ends poorly for me. I could be totally wrong, of course, not financial advice. So this was interesting. The insiders buying just made me more comfortable to buy. Want to point out here, guys, that we do have our Patreon. It's only $1 to support us, which is nothing in it. I'm going to go to the Discord, and there's a bunch of member updates we do, of course. We have Patreon-only episodes that we post as well. We're discussing, obviously, our different trades. I have spreadsheets here that I'm posting about different things I'm tracking, like PayPal, and I will be updating this PayPal one for the Patreon members, and you guys can download it here. So we'll do another episode where we go over these numbers because I want to update them from, it's already even better now, okay? When we did this with LG, these numbers now don't even account for the massive drop to $115. So I think at the end of the day, I'm going to be sitting very pretty with PayPal. And we'll do an updated episode on that too. It's only $1 to start. It's $4.20, which is a great number, of course. You get all this extra stuff, exclusive videos, exclusive Q&As, actual trades. We're doing a show that we're going to do actually discussing stocks. And we've been waiting till we have more Patreons to start this, but we're probably going to start it soon, where we just do like an audio podcast type thing. And of course, the Discord server where you chat with us. And never forget that the main part of the Discord is totally free. You can join it, obviously, and chat with us. We're over here talking about SolarEdge and Tesla and a lot of other stuff daily. So come and join us on the Discord. That's free. And if you want some extra perks, the Patreon is here with a couple of levels. Check it out. And like I said, it's only $1 to start. Takes you. And worst case, why don't you do a like and subscribe? That doesn't cost you anything. It really helps us, and we appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, a couple more stocks I wanted to talk about because Enphase is doing well still. And I'm not going to go deep into this one because we went into Enphase a bunch of times. What's interesting is that SolarEdge also had their quarterly today, in fact. I might do a video episode about the quarterly, but here we go. Where are we in Enphase's history? Right now we're hanging in this range between these two red lines still. We're actually in it now. So we're under the 200-day still and the 300-day. That's right here. So here's the 200-day, here's the 300-day, the purple one. We are actually above the 21-day, so this is actually looking bullish. I think Enphase might be turning around here. No guarantees, of course, but it's riding the 21-day now, and if it gets above the 50-day when they cross, these are bullish signs. So we might be even if we're heading sideways, we're probably in this channel right now for a bit, which is between $140, $135 maybe, and the top of this channel is all the way over here at $300. So I'm not saying we're getting to $300 anytime soon, but the fact that we are at the bottom of this channel, I know people keep asking me, do I buy Enphase? When do I buy this? You have to watch our videos. We have so much content about Enphase, it's crazy, that I've always been buying Enphase at these prices. I think anything under $200 is a good buy. But you guys in the Discord, you guys have to make your own decision, of course, because I don't want to be the guy telling you to buy Enphase. And I can't be the guy telling you to buy Enphase. It's not my job. I just want to give you some facts so you can make a better decision. But let me go to the Enphase. Here you go. I actually made a whole different section in our Discord for EV and energy stocks because obviously we love those, like Tesla. There's a new one here we're going to cover called ENOVIX, ENVX, and Sonny Coates is a big bull on it, and so is Johnny Boy. They're giving me a lot of information that we're going to go over ENOVIX in another episode, but I'm still learning about it, so I'm not willing to throw all my cash at it just because other things are down right now. But here's Enphase, and we're going to discuss this SolarEdge and Enphase comparison a little bit because SolarEdge had their quarterlies. But what's cool is that we are discussing Enphase at length. And I think, yes, here you go. Yoshtin. I think he's a younger guy. He's asking me because I put this chart up, right, about buying Enphase here in our Discord. And he goes, do I buy now or wait? Well, I wrote that's up to you, buddy. I mean, Yoshtin, watch all our videos. Like, but the only advice is that if you buy it now, it's for the long term. I've been buying everything under $200. As long as it stays there, I'm willing to dollar cost average. And of course, I buy heavier when it's under the 200 day. So if we are to look at this chart, you can see we're under the 200 day, we're under the 300 day. We're not as low on the RSI anymore, so it's not as great of an opportune moment as we were when we were here at a 116, 120, 125. But I don't know if that matters over the long term. What, like 5 years from now, if you can hold on, if you don't need to sell, does it matter? That's up to you to decide. That's why I don't want to give you an answer. But yes, we are discussing Enphase heavily, and I always think it's a good buy, especially if I had no, let me put it this way. If I had no Enphase here, and I know these technicals about being under the 200 day, and I know how bullish the company is, I would be a buyer if I had no Enphase. But I'm not a buyer right this second because I have Enphase and I was buying right here. So you really, and I was buying actually all the way down. So I actually don't mind things that are falling as long as I really understand them. So I feel like I understand Enphase pretty well. I feel if it kept falling, I was hoping it would fall a little bit lower, but it didn't. It wanted to stop. Like my price target was $109 approximately. And if it really fell below that, it was probably going to be $80. I'm not saying it's not possible still, because the market can turn, the rates can rise faster than we all expect, and we collapse straight down. That is very possible. I just think of it this way, that if I'm not willing to sell Enphase at 150, which I'm not, because I'm waiting for, let's say, 4-digit Enphase approximately, and it's dropping to $100 and then $80, I'm just dollar cost averaging. This is why I still have money on the side, just waiting there for these moments where possibly this can happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm already invested. Like, I don't have to worry about this. But if it wants to give me an opportunity at $109 and then it wants to give me another one at $80, sure, give it to me. I'll take it. Just like the PayPal thing. PayPal's being basically just creamed. Here we go. All right, so that's the chart for Enphase. I'm a bull. SolarEdge. SolarEdge is also a good company. I know some people don't love it, and it's not as good as Enphase, but as we had other episodes, and I think I'll include a link down below where we discussed with a solar installer about these companies, and really these are the main players in the markets. If you want to be well diversified in this sort of inverter space and the solar industry, then SolarEdge and Enphase are great opportunities for you to sort of just keep dollar cost averaging both. Having said that, I have no SolarEdge still because it turned around a little bit too fast. I had buys at 185 and 200. It turned around pretty fast, and now it's sitting at 260. They had their quarterly report, and we might do a bigger episode, but SolarEdge Technologies non-GAAP EPS of 110 misses by 22 cents. So it's not great to miss, but let me tell you more. There's some bullish stuff here. Revenue of $551 million, beats by $2 million. Does this sound terrible? I don't think so, because if you look at the revenue, they grew 54% year over year. And I did listen to some of their earnings call. They still have some headwinds for getting supplies of chips, and not everybody can provide everything they need for these inverters. So I don't know if this is something you should take into consideration that they missed by 22 cents. Having said that, Enphase is the better play. If I was to pick only one, I would pick Enphase, but I already have plenty of Enphase, so I'm looking to acquire some SolarEdge just to be a little bit more diversified. Their GAAP gross margin is 33%, and I'm going to go to our Discord one more time. I did a little comparison here to take a look at the difference between them. And so SolarEdge here misses by 22 cents, Enphase beats by 14 cents. I think Enphase also is very smart in this. Every quarter they seem to beat because they're always underestimating, or at least telling the market, hey, we're going to do a little bit worse than you guys think. Hey, we're going to do a little bit worse. And then they end up beating it. This happens consistently. It was probably for a couple of years now. Revenue, here you go, beats by 2 million, but then Enphase beat by 13 million. But look at this. The revenue is 412 million here for Enphase, and it's 551. So technically SolarEdge is doing more business. But Enphase is beating in terms of revenue. They're growing a little bit faster. You see this 56% almost, and they're 54% here for SolarEdge. The other amazing stat for Enphase is the non-GAAP gross margin is 40%. They're really doing a good job sticking around 40%. They've been higher before, but I am not willing to give them higher than 40% in terms of even my calculation. So I'm trying to stick it around 40%. I think they're trying to keep that number consistent. Non-GAAP gross margin for SolarEdge is 30%. So look, they're both doing really well. This is the thing, like, yes, Enphase is doing better, but if you just want to be well diversified, both are really good investments for the long term. Like for the next decade, these two are the clear winners. Besides Tesla, give me a third or a fourth or a fifth option. I don't even know. It's really Enphase, SolarEdge, and maybe Tesla. Well, I have Tesla and I have Enphase, so now I have to get SolarEdge. All right, we can go over that more later, but I'll do another video covering SolarEdge because I really do want to start accumulating them at some point. All right, we're going to look at FUV last because we have a lot of fans in the Discord for FUV. I'll mention this only one more time, guys. Join our Patreon. It's only $1 to start. $4.20 if you really want to help support us. $7.99 if you're a baller and you just want to really help us out. But it's only $1 to join. Our Discord, we are discussing FUV at length. We had a whole discussion here about what FUV can do possibly, and I was thinking they can do some sort of a battery swap thing. Sort of NIO has obviously a very expensive battery swap solution, but I'm wondering if they can adopt like this go-go-row. I know it's a bigger vehicle, but with the weight being brought down and maybe there's just more of these batteries, that there could be a whole business there for FUV Arcimoto with sort of like this battery swapping thing too, because it's such a small vehicle. Maybe they can work this in somehow. I'm not saying it's easy, and some guys made some good points why it wouldn't be easy. Of course, there's engineering problems here. The modular and swap would be pretty decent, but like Constraint said, if it's not small enough, you need infrastructure. Little battery vending machines. Exactly. We want little battery. I wrote 100%. You're right. A lot of engineering challenges. Not simple. I just think it can be another revenue stream if done right. Maybe later they will, as the tech improves, it will help their robo-taxi business, right? So imagine not having to charge your vehicle and you can just swap batteries and always continue operating this robo-taxi network. We're talking about the future, 2025, to my opinion, 2025 and on. This is not like next year. I don't want them to do that next year. I'm just saying that if this works out and Arcimotos are everywhere, FUVs are everywhere, this might be a possible solution where they have some sort of a swappable battery or just extra energy. And we talked a little bit with Mark about this in our, I think on our December chat. And here I wrote, Mark mentioned this once as well when we chatted with him. But yeah, we're having long discussions about FUV, so it's actually pretty interesting. So at around the 550 level, we've been discussing this all along. Okay, they're holding here almost for a little bit over 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks now, in terms of holding the 550 approximately, but we're still under the 21-day. And this purple line, if I zoom out a little bit, we're still in this negative downward trend. So don't think we're out of this yet. This event on February 22nd is coming up fast, and we haven't had a pump yet. I would have thought a pump would have started by now. Maybe it's starting right now with the market turning around. And if we do pump, you know, I don't know, it's going to be hard to break this $8 mark. So, but it is possible. It is possible we get up there, then it's around $10. So we'll see if that happens. But right now I'm just keeping an eye. I have my shares. I haven't done anything. I haven't bought any call options, which I still want to. But I was hoping to get better prices. Maybe I won't. Maybe this is really the bottom of FUV, 550 approximately. So I might do my at least 1 or 2 or 10 calls for 2024. That's what I'm still looking at. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I am still looking at those calls for 2024. All right, so this is also from our Discord. And there was an article that, I forgot, I think it's Constraint. I think Constraint brought up the fact that Investco has a certain number of shares. Then I did a little bit of a deeper dive, and it seems like Investco was not buying shares, which we were discussing. They actually sold shares. Here it says, Investco Ltd. has filed a 13G form with the Securities and Exchange Commission disclosing ownership of 2.2 million shares of Arcimoto. This represents 6% ownership of the company. In their previous filing dated March 10, 2021, the investor reported owning 3.5 million shares and 10.4% of the company, indicating a decrease in shares of 36%. So this is not good news. This was announced February 9th that Investco Ltd. cut stake in FUV. And so this is not great news that this is happening. You know, this just puts more pressure on the shares. And over here, it shows other people who do own some of these shares and their current ownership. I don't know if this is accurate anymore. So this could be changing. You guys just have to keep up with this information. But at this point, Investco cuts its stake from 10% to 6%, which was not great. All right, guys, I hope that was an enjoyable update. Let us know in the comments if you like these kinds of things, other stocks I should be covering, and what me and Carlos should be covering. And of course, join us on the Patreon. Like I said, it's only $1 to start, $4.20 if you really want to help out, and it's a great number, $7.99 if you just want to be a baller. And our Discord is free to join as well. So we're talking about a lot of stuff. All these stocks that I'm discussing here with you, we're talking about in this Discord. Now hit the like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.